This week in news, we're winging it again. Extra, hear all about it.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast where we're just really busy.
Yes.
I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater on all platforms, and joining me today from Twitch's graveyard, Gavin.
Hi.
And his Twitch account really has come back from the graveyard because he's been streaming quite a bit more than he was.
I'm pretty sure any stream is more than what I was doing.
But yeah, so we still haven't figured out a podcast schedule because holy shit, things just keep happening.
Yep.
I won't get into what you had to deal with. That's up to you whether you want to talk about it. But for me, on my side this week, I've been trying to get experience in a specific program so I can possibly get a better job to provide for my wife and kids. And so I got a trial of that program. And like 2 days later, my wife's appendix decides, hey, you know what? Fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so that's all been going on. And on top of that, also, not nearly as serious as medical issues, but still fairly serious, for me at least. 20 hours. I spent 20 hours that I could have been spending editing other things, and also working on getting this job that I'm trying to get. I spent 20 of those hours trying to edit last week's episode because fucking hell, things went to shit.
Yeah.
Gavin's audio got recorded twice. And so I had to figure out how to fix that. I ended up figuring out how to fix it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. For those of you who watch the video or don't listen through headphones, you can only, the last podcast episode, you can only hear Gavin in one ear. That's how I had to fix it. I had to move all of his audio to one side, and that fixed his double audio. And then of course, my mic has been iffy. I think I figured out what was going on with my mic as well. Fingers crossed that's solved also. But that's been an ongoing thing. The big thing was Gavin's audio. I could not edit anything because his audio was doubled.
People just wanted to hear me so much that they had to double my audio.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a whole thing. Also, our editorials for our silver members, I keep fucking up too. And that's been editing issues for me. But enough about me. How are you doing, Gavin?
Tired. Just woke up not long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Oh, man. Well, this is Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, August 27th, 2023. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/the briefing room, where, like I said, we're working on getting caught up because fucking hell, everything. My life decided to blow up. But enough of that. Patreon, we got you. Stuff is coming up. I already have several videos published. I just need to make them public. But let's get to some news for now. And so let's start with Amazon's Fallout TV show is coming in 2024 and will take place in Los Angeles. Did you see this?
No.
So Bethesda made a deal with Amazon for their Prime Video service for a Fallout TV show. And the Fallout, at Gamescom, they released the Fallout trailer, which I can try to find for you here in a second. If you want to watch it.
I'll watch it afterwards.
Yeah, okay. I'll send it to you afterwards then. But the teaser featured marching Brotherhood of Steel soldiers, a shootout in a Western-inspired town, and a woman emerging from a vault for the first time. Yeah. And also the story comes from VGC, Tom Ivan, VGC specifically. So what do you think about a Fallout TV show? I know you're a pretty big Bethesda guy.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know, because it's sort of a double-edged sword when it comes to Amazon. Because like some of their shows are just not good, but then they also, back things like the Critical Role, TV show, which is phenomenal. So I don't know, maybe they can do something good with it.
Yeah, Amazon really is like a really mixed bag. Like they have some of the shittiest movies, but also they have some phenomenal movies, and it's like, where is your how are you coming to getting the movies that you come to? Is it price? Because I mean that is another thing we that doesn't get talked about. When you license a IP or a pre-existing movie or show for a streaming service, especially if you're big like Amazon, traditionally you have to get very specific rights, especially if you want it in all regions. If you want it in all regions, you have to get worldwide syndication license, like for your streaming service, which basically means you're paying the price of every country.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times the VPN stuff, they're like, oh, if you change your region to this, you can get this show. That's the reason
Yeah.
is they did not get the international license because they are so expensive.
Right.
But Fallout is an interesting one because I think that would translate pretty well to even it is a TV show, but I think a Fallout would even translate well to a movie,
Yeah, I think it would
done the right
translate
way.
pretty well. From what I've heard, I don't think it's on Amazon. From what I heard, that Twisted Metal show was turned out really well.
Yeah,
It's sort of the same general vibe, which is
yeah,
post-apocalyptic type thing.
yeah,
So as long as they do it right.
yeah. And the other thing is like we kind of know the history of all the shelters, but we haven't really gotten games for some of the shelters. So like
Mhm.
you could even like do something completely out of the blue and it wouldn't hurt the game story per se.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, um, I'm excited. Like you said, though, Amazon such a mixed bag. It's hard to say whether or not it will be good or
Not only, not only that, but like when it comes to a Bethesda game being turned into a TV show, like Fallout is probably the best way to go because Fallout's lore is a little bit looser than like say Skyrim's is.
yes, yeah. All right, next story. I'm kind of reading these off the cuff because again, been busy,
By the way,
didn't make a
by
doc.
the,
Yeah.
by the way, a little side thing, not all related to games. I just got a Facebook memory from Facebook, and showed me one of the first um, drawings of a horror character that I did, and I wanted to
Oh,
show you that. I wanted to show you that versus the final version that I ended up doing that I posted to Instagram.
look at that. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
You
once I
should get
switched to
into.
yeah, once I switched to digital art, like everything got like a lot easier.
Yeah.
By the way, those hands in the second photo, those are my hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I use my hands as
Oh,
reference.
nice. Um, excuse me. I am also very tired because it's my bedtime. Um, okay. Overnights is super fun, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Uh, if you want excellent sleep, go to overnights. Um, all right. Here's a fun little story. Uh, Epic Game Store is offering developers 100% of revenue for 6 months of exclusivity. Are you aware of the differences between the PC stores? I know you don't have a PC, but
All I know is Steam. That's it.
okay. Epic Game Store is the direct competitor to Steam.
Gotcha.
Um, but they've been pretty good um, about being more developer friendly than Valve has, and that's nothing against Valve. There's a reason people still use Steam over Epic Game Store. Much more feature inclusive, just a deluge of options that Epic doesn't have. But even prior to this, Epic would just give you a flat out rate, just a flat out sum of money to be exclusive to them. Um, and if you developed your game through Unreal Engine, which is Epic, you would get you would get discounts, and you wouldn't have to pay the license fee or whatever for Unreal Engine. They gave you a bigger cut of money for every game sold through their store. So they've already been doing stuff to make themselves more attractive to developers than Steam.
Right.
So this isn't new. But also, games mostly do most of their sales in the first 6 months. So it's interesting they're offering 100% of revenue share for the game time that the game is the most profitable. And I mentioned they have a more favorable split. So the normal split is 88% of the money goes to the developer and only 12% to Epic. Whereas with Steam, it's 70-30. But I just I have been very open on this podcast about not being super trusting of corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is very favorable to the developers, which is phenomenal. I am all about being favorable to developers. But by the same token, I'm like, what's their game here? What are they playing at? Because that's, I guess they get some money for maybe they just get enough for licensing they of course get plenty of money from Fortnite because they do Fortnite, but maybe they get enough money through licensing out Unreal Engine that they're just like, yeah, we can just afford to do this. But I just don't understand. The business side of it doesn't make sense to me without there being some sort of some sort of catch,
Right.
But what do you think of it?
I don't know. It just seems kind of sounds like a too good to be true kind of situation. It's like,
Yeah, doesn't
I
it?
believe you.
Like I said, doing this, they got rid of the the lump sum that they were offering companies. Maybe that's where the different. I mean, it still doesn't make a whole lot of business sense per se on as far as selling the game, because they won't make a whole lot of money after the 6 months of exclusivity when they start getting some of the money, because by then the game will have already sold. But so it still doesn't make sense that way, but maybe it works out in their favor in terms of now that they're not handing out the lump sums of cash to bring something exclusive to their store. Maybe that's something that's going to save them money, or maybe it's something that I don't remember a Epic Game Store exclusive for a hot minute. Maybe companies just decided that they're making more by not taking the deal, and so this is kind of to change up the deal. I don't know, but I guess get people into your store, and then from there you can make money off of other things in the store, I guess is the idea. Who knows? I am not a business major. Uh, as you can tell from my shitty job at monetizing shit for us, but Yeah. It's an interesting offer. I love seeing developers, get what they deserve from making games. I just another thing. I just hope that money actually goes to more to the individual developers and not more to the owner, the CEO of the developers.
Right.
Pay your employees. That's it shouldn't be said, but man, do companies not listen?
Yeah.
Speaking of, Charles Martinet will no longer be voicing Mario. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Yeah, you'll no longer hear Charles Martinet go, "It's me," or I don't know, "It's a spicy meatball." uh, um, but this comes from Nintendo themselves in an official tweet. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. And they did update because people were asking. He does not voice any characters in Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which comes out this November. But it also, or is it October? I don't know. There's so many games coming out; it's hard to keep track of dates. Because he also voices Wario and a bunch of others. He's a lot of voices. But yeah. So now we get to hear Chris Pratt as Mario in video games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a joke, but you definitely did not seem
Okay.
enthused about that at all.
I did not know it was a joke, honestly.
No, I don't think Nintendo can afford Chris Pratt on every game they release.
Fair.
He's a pricey boy. Everybody wants a piece of Chris Pratt right now. Did you see? Speaking of Chris Pratt, did you see they are making a Jack and Daxter movie, and allegedly, it's going to be Tom Holland as Jack and Chris Pratt as Daxter.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Oh boy, those two actors, they're just everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been developing. I'll go ahead and refresh because there's probably an update, honestly, for this. So Microsoft will sell Activision Blizzard streaming rights to Ubisoft in attempt to close the deal for the merger, basically to appease the CMA, the Competitions and Market Authority, which is in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So back in April, the CMA blocked the deal. And despite a lot of time being spent on Call of Duty and PlayStation, they determined that was not anti-consumer. What was anti-consumer was the nascent cloud market and how Microsoft already has such a large hold in cloud streaming because of how big they are with cloud streaming. What's going on? There we go. So because, like I said, they were blocked because of cloud streaming, they are selling the streaming rights to Ubisoft, who does not, as far as I'm aware, maybe they do, have a cloud streaming platform. So if Microsoft then wants to have an Activision Blizzard game on their cloud streaming, despite owning Activision Blizzard, they have to license their own game from Ubisoft in order to have it on their service. Are you following?
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, initially they were just trying to find a initially I guess they were just trying to find a UK based streamer, cloud streaming service to put Call of Duty, like not Call of Duty, but like Activision Blizzard games, have them own that. But the CMA, it's so murky, but essentially the CMA wanted it to be a worldwide thing. They did not want it to be just in the UK, which seems to me like problematic because that means the UK is trying to, a regulator for the UK, I guess not the UK itself per se, but regulator for a UK is trying to regulate world decisions. Because keep in mind, this is the last roadblock. Everyone else has said yes. The CMA is the only one that said no. And now they're like, no, you need to make these changes on a worldwide basis. And it's just like, bro, why are you policing the rest of the world? Have you seen? We have jokes here in the States of we have the jokes about how crazy the MAGA people are and all of that. Have you seen the UK? Right now, the UK is batshit crazy. Oh yeah. I can't remember the post, but there was they were talking about putting more bears into their forests because the bear population had gone down. And there was this guy that, and state parks. And this one guy was going off in this post about how it's so dangerous to have bears so close to children. And they're like, bro, they said parks as in forests, not actual playgrounds. But he just kept going on and on. And there's a lot of crazy people like that. Let's not forget the anti-vax movement started from the UK too.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was a UK doctor.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So we make jokes, and fairly enough, the MAGA people definitely make the rest of us, look crazy. But the UK is a little bit crazier, and they're doing all this extra shit too with the CMA, and it's but again, Microsoft's doing what it can. Regardless of, as I've said it before, regardless of how you feel about corporate conglomeration, corporate consolidation, I guess would be a better word. Literally no one else has found an issue, and the CMA's issue has seemed less and less like an actual issue and more making a statement. about how hard they are. But yeah, that's it for that one. Probably have time for one more story, and that came from Andy Robinson, also at VGC. Like I said, I usually start with VGC, and then any other details I can find at any other place I try to add, but I didn't do that because I didn't have time. I'm not seeing it, but if I remember correctly, you were telling me there was some this week there was some Mortal Kombat news.
Mortal Kombat what?
Weren't you telling me about some Mortal Kombat news?
Maybe not news, just general. I don't think it was news. I was just telling you like the general gist of what the new timeline's been like, how they're
Yeah.
changing things. Which I mean, they're changing a lot, but
Well, let's talk about it.
I really don't know what to say other than like they're changing a lot. They're bringing back some old characters that haven't been in the games in a while.
Weren't they showing like how what's her name became the horrific creature she becomes?
Oh yeah, like that's a whole new thing now that the Tarkatans aren't a race anymore. It's a disease that like genetically mutates people into being Tarkatans.
Yeah.
That's how Melina got her thing now. Instead of being part Tarkatan, like she just got this disease and shit. Um, I will say everybody's been kind of speculating on who the big bad's gonna be. Um, I don't know if it's been confirmed yet who the big bad's gonna be, but like it means people were discussing it and we're all starting to think maybe Unaga's coming back because like from what I understand in the comics, Havoc had this whole thing going on during 10 about the Komodagu, which was like a huge thing, and I believe that's with Shunjinko looking for the Komodagu, and Shunjinko's in this game. So, and like that was like Shunjiko's whole entire situation involved like Unaga and shit. So everyone thinks Unaga's coming back, but I would be hyped as fuck.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah.
excited for you. I know you've been every time you get some news, you share it with me. And even though I'm not a fighting game, guy. I'm excited for you because I know how much you love this shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fighting game guy either. Like the last Mortal Kombat I played was 9.
That wasn't too terribly long ago. They only had
That
10 and
was a while back ago. Hold on, let me fucking look up when MK9 came out.
They only had 10 and 11, and now they're at 1. I mean, that's only 3 games.
2011.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It's 12 years ago, bro. I was 13.
Yeah, it's fine. This is fine. But
Yeah, I haven't like I kind of played 11. Not really. I just had a couple matches with my little brother like at home, but like
yeah,
yeah, I'm actually genuinely interested in this one.
But if you liked that, or even if you didn't like that, make sure to do all of the things, like hitting the like button and the subscribe and the bell at the XofPlays on YouTube, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use. Be sure to tell people about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow. And I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can get cool rewards and financially support the show. That's all from us. Take care.